You are listening to Beyond the Wheel, a podcast about the people and ideas that drive the RV community forward.
Looking to get out there and stay out there? Battleborn Batteries lithium-ion batteries are here to power your RV, marine, and off-grid adventures. Designed as an easy drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries, these reliable solutions have 2 to 3 times the power, charge 5 times faster, are a fifth of the weight, and last 10 times longer. Offered in a variety of models in unique sizes and shapes, ranging from 50 amp hour to a robust 270 amp hour, and backed by a 10-year warranty. Battleborn batteries are built to fit your needs and power your experiences. On the road, on the water, and off the grid, reliable power is here. Check them out at battlebornbatteries.com. Hey everybody, can you believe that we are already at day number 3 of the FMCA convention in Perry, Georgia? Today we are talking with FMCA Insurance and Custom Glass Solutions. And you should be able to hear the faint sound of the hustle and bustle of the event as we are set up just outside of the vendor hall. FMCA Insurance is an independent insurance company that you can use even if you are not a member of FMCA. Although, as you will hear in this episode, as an FMCA member, there are discounts to take advantage of. After the short break, we are then joined by Custom Glass Solutions, which are the only glass company in America who makes windshields for Class A RVs. But before we jump into this episode, we would like it very much if you could leave our podcast a rating or review on your favorite podcast platform. These ratings help the show get recognized by those platforms and help them decide which shows to promote. Without any further ado, let's get this episode started. Hey everybody, welcome back to the FMCA convention out here in Perry, Georgia. Today we are joined by Jake, who is with FMCA Insurance. So Jake, could you kind of introduce yourself and just tell us what your role is there?
Sure, yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. This is my first time in Perry and happy to be here. I am an insurance agent with FMCA RV Insurance. I've been with the organization for about 6 years. And our role is as independent insurance agents for the members to help them to place RV insurance and their other insurance needs along the way.
And do you guys cover all types of RVs?
We do. So all types of RVs, A, B, C, B+, C+, towables, we do it all.
Oh, okay. I would imagine that keeps you pretty busy.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
And so do you guys deal only with new RVs, or somebody that's had an RV and is looking to change their insurance, they could also contact you as well?
Yeah, so new RVs, pre-owned, and anything that somebody's got, we're RV specialists and familiar with all types.
Okay.
And then, is it for FMCA members only, or is it open to the public?
Yeah, good question. So we are a partner with FMCA, and we highly recommend joining FMCA for a number of reasons. But no, it's not required to be a member of FMCA to work with us for insurance. Although FMCA does offer FMCA membership does entitle people to a discount with certain companies.
Oh, okay.
And like we were saying earlier in the week, the membership for an FMCA is relatively inexpensive,
for
so
all the benefits.
I'm sure it pays for itself in no time.
Most definitely.
And plus, you're going to get all the other benefits of being a member.
Yeah. Now, you are an insurance agent, and you deal with other insurance companies to find people the best in coverage for whatever their needs are.
Right. So we're appointed with many different insurance carriers throughout the country. We work in all the different states. Everywhere but Hawaii, we're licensed. So anywhere that members happen to live or find themselves along the way, we're able to help out. And we insure all types of vehicles and beyond just RVs, homes, autos, boats, e-bikes, golf carts. All those types of things.
E-bikes?
Yes.
Yeah, that caught my attention too.
Yeah, and it's funny. The insurance companies are still grappling with how to treat e-bikes, and believe it or not, they treat them as a motorcycle in a lot of cases because they are self-propelled to some degree, and maybe I'm getting too far in the weeds, but sometimes people think that they're covered by their insurance, and they're not always covered the way that people think they are.
Really? Yeah, and I think about, I've seen over 1,000 e-bikes here, probably, and
yeah.
I bet I have an e-bike. Have
have
you
an
ever
e-bike.
considered insurance, Kenny?
No, not at all. I never even thought about it.
You know, and it's funny, somebody stopped by the booth yesterday and they said they came out of their seminar here at FMCA and there were 3 e-bikes that looked exactly like theirs, and they're like, I don't know how people can tell the difference between these things. Not that somebody might intentionally steal or
Right.
you know, somehow end up with somebody else's, but yeah, some of those things aren't often thought about.
Yeah, that's wow. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I need to think about that now.
I would say that we see at this event anyway, or just in general anymore. I feel like I see more people riding e-bikes than not, or compared to traditional bikes.
And so back to RVs, full-timers versus part-timers. Are there different requirements or different recommendations for those two groups of people?
Sure. So your full timers are going to want their RV policy, their RV insurance policy, to in some ways mirror a homeowner's policy. So there's certain coverages that are available for a full timer, specifically full timer's liability, that's going to follow that full timer anywhere they might be, whether it be driving down the road, in the parking lot of a grocery store, out walking their dog, for any kind of those liability things that would be commonly caught by a homeowner's policy.
Okay.
So somebody trips and falls down the stairs of your RV, in the same way if they tripped on my sidewalk at my home, your full-timer's liability package is going to help protect that full-timer. Same if their dog bites somebody, if they, whatever it is for a liability concern, that full-timer's liability is what's going to help that person. On the other hand, the part-time user, the vacation user, is going to have what's called vacation liability for the same reasons.
Okay. So it's not necessarily the structure that's different, the RV itself that's different, it's the liability around everything that goes along with full-timing or part-time travel.
That's right. And a full-timer with most of our companies is defined by how many days in a year somebody uses their RV and whether they call the RV their primary residence.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then what does like a standard coverage cost? I think, Sean and I have had like warranty companies on, and sometimes people get confused with what's the warranty cover and what does the insurance cover, and how do they figure out who do they call in case they need something fixed, repaired, and things like that.
So the common definition, the easiest way to think of it, is that insurance is meant to cover something that's sudden and accidental.
Okay.
So if it's something that happens over time, a slow leak develops that does damage, that sounds more like a warranty issue. In most cases, speaking generally, if it's something where somebody hits a tree branch, or there's a hailstorm, or of course the classic running into something, or those are fairly obvious. But sudden and accidental is the rule of thumb as to how to differentiate warranty work versus an insurance claim.
So it's really important to have both insurance and some type of warranty.
There's room for both
to complete your. Do a complete coverage.
Type of situation.
Yeah, there is room for both, and FMCA has partners that do the warranty side of things, and of course we're here for the insurance. But yeah, there's certainly room for both to make sure people are adequately protected.
And before I forget, I know that you mentioned that you do have a booth in here. Where are you guys located for this week?
Yeah, so we're in the 600 row, right inside the vendor hall near the FMCA store. We've got a banner saying FMCA Insurance, and please stop by and see us. We've got 3 seminars this week, 2 of them left today at 4:30 and 1 tomorrow at 9.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
You guys are busy here too.
Yes, yeah.
And what about, I was in a seminar yesterday with Fantasy RV Tours talking about a Canadian tour that they do. Does most of the insurance policies cover Canada and Mexico travel as well?
Yeah, good question. So all of our companies, and of course I can only speak for our companies,
right.
But all of our companies will automatically extend coverage into the country of Canada. Okay. There's nothing you have to purchase, no additional products. We just recommend that we provide a Canadian ID card. and that will tell the Canadian authorities who your insurance company is. It's printed in both English and French, which is convenient. And so that's something we can provide on demand, send you an email, put it in the mail, whatever. And it's good for an entire policy year.
Oh,
Okay. So very easy, no extra expense. Mexico is a little more complicated.
Yeah.
So going into Mexico adds a few more complications depending on where your insurance is based, because your insurance is always going to match a particular state. So I come from the state of Iowa. I have an Iowa insurance ID card. Somebody that comes from Texas is going to have a Texas insurance. And there's different provisions within the policy about how far into Mexico, if at all, your policy might provide coverage. And that's why it's important to speak to your agent. However, before any insurance is valid at all, you must first have a Mexico liability policy.
Which is separate.
That can be purchased through us. They do sell them at the border or different places, but that Mexico liability is thing one that must be in place before anything else.
Okay, so it's important for someone to make sure they have everything covered before they travel into Mexico. Definitely talk with you guys or their insurance provider to make sure they're covered, because the worst thing would be to get down there and have something happen and then you're kind of screwed.
Well, right, and it would be, and each vehicle that you take into Mexico may or may not need its own policy. The easy way to remember it is anything that has an engine needs its own policy. So if somebody's bringing in a fifth wheel trailer, the truck pulling it needs a policy, but the trailer doesn't. But still, to cover the value of the trailer they're bringing in, there's some things to do.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know.
Are people able to just call in with these questions?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yep, and all of our agents, we're a team of, like I said, I think 3 different office locations. We cover all the different time zones, and yeah, people can call in, and all of our agents are prepared to speak to that.
Okay. I have a question about like the age of an RV or mileage on an RV. Is there ever a point where an RV is too old or has too many miles to be insured?
Generally, no. Okay. So we insure vintage RVs. I've commonly insure RV trailers that are from the 1950s.
Okay.
Of course, brand new RVs are more common than those vintage ones, I'd say. But no, there's no kind of mileage or age restrictions. There are some issues if there's been prior damage or different things, but no, there's nothing like that at all.
So what about like say a vintage trailer? Does it need to have some type of inspection if it's a certain age or anything like that?
Well, so with the vintage trailer, we often see those insured for an agreed value. Okay. So you might look at a trailer value and say, this thing is 50 years old, it's not going to be worth much. But the sweat equity and the improvements that people have made to it make it worth quite a bit more than what the Blue Book might say.
Gotcha.
So what people can do is they can have that unit appraised and then insure it for that exact amount.
Okay. Easy.
Okay.
Is that? I was going to say, is that something that they call you and say, hey, I have a vintage trailer. Do you recommend people that they can get it appraised through?
Well, there's no requirements to have it appraised by a certain individual or business. We do have some that we see commonly come across our desk, but as long as they can provide that photo inspection that has or appraisal that has that value and comparables, we can use that to establish the value.
Oh, okay.
Another group that is popping up a lot more these days are things like converted school buses, schoolies, or people that build out their own vans. Yep. Are those things that you guys can also insure those?
Sometimes.
Okay. I know it gets complicated.
It does. Yeah. So I hate to use black and white because things change all the time. At this moment in time, school buses are a hard stop. If it's ever been a school bus at any point in its life. Now that could change next week,
Yeah.
But at this moment, and that's why it's important to speak to us to say, here's what I've got. Is it something you can work with or not? Homemade conversions can be tough too. Oh. Those are something we can submit to our underwriters and say, here's the pictures, here's the receipts. Is this something you would take? Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
But certainly if it's a professional conversion done by a company that's in the business of RV conversions, no problem.
Oh, okay.
okay.
But
So
if
it's
it's some,
just-
so it's who does the work, what their credentials are, and really what the build out is. And I'll tell you, I've seen some really creative RVs. There's been some residential doors on the side of RVs,
Oh,
and there's
wow.
been just some crazy stories.
And then what about when somebody, let's say I'm here,
Mhm.
I have coverage, heaven forbid, I have a fire or something like that. Is it a pretty easy process to file a claim with most of the companies that you guys work with?
So we work only with A-rated companies.
Okay.
So we do vet our companies before placing any business with them. Ultimately, if you had a fire or an accident of any kind, what would happen is you would file that insurance claim with the company providing the coverage. They would be the one to assign an adjuster to assess any damages. If there's problems along the way with your claim, we do have a claims specialist on our staff
Okay.
that helps advocate on your behalf and
Okay.
make sure that's going smoothly.
Okay.
Okay. And here at the FMCA show, there's a lot of Class A's, and a lot of these Class A's are towing a vehicle behind them. Do you guys cover not just the Class A, but will you also cover the tow vehicle as well?
We do. So that is certainly something we can do. We can insure really anything and everything to most extent.
Okay.
While the vehicle is being towed behind the Class A, the insurance differs somewhat, or quite a bit, I guess, compared to when it's riding free down the road.
Okay.
So if you're pulling a vehicle down the road, the liability for the vehicle being towed extends from that Class A. When they're detached, then they are on separate policies. So again, more things to consider with your agent as to how to best insure yourself.
Okay.
It gets really complicated.
Yeah, I didn't realize that actually. Yeah,
And then
but I
if your
guess it makes
e-bike
sense.
is attached to your
Yeah,
tow
yeah,
car,
yeah.
then that adds another complication.
What about trailers then? Like if somebody was to trailer like their motorbikes or motorcycles, not only would the motorcycles be covered, but then the trailer itself would be as well?
Well, right. So
Okay.
in that scenario, there'd be a policy, of course, for the Class A pulling the trailer. The trailer itself may or may not have a policy if you're concerned about the value of the trailer itself.
Okay.
And the vehicles inside would of course need their own policy.
Oh, really? Okay.
Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
So okay, I think I got it.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of thinking that maybe the trailer covered what was inside, but that's
So a trailer could cover, I'll call them not anything that's not a self-propelled motorized vehicle.
Okay.
So if you've got maybe tools, or if you've got, I'll call them camping equipment,
Yeah.
perhaps there'd
There you
be
go.
coverage inside for those trailered items. But something that's self-propelled, like that motorcycle, that e-bike, golf cart, those types of things,
Okay.
they're going to need their own policy.
that makes sense.
Oh,
Makes
okay.
sense.
Golf carts too.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys do insurance for golf carts
We
as
do.
well?
Yep.
Oh.
We do.
Okay.
Super popular too with the RVers.
Man, I
Definitely.
would have never considered some of this stuff.
Yeah, I know. That's why we have you on.
That's great.
So,
So when somebody calls in asking about RV insurance, I'm sure you guys have like standard questions that you ask to make sure that their golf cart, they don't have a golf cart, or they do have a golf cart or an e-bike and that kind of stuff, so that they're not missing out on anything important.
Right. So we do have a number of ways for people to get in touch with us. They can go to our website, fmcarvinsurance.com, and fill out a form for whatever they might have. They're certainly welcome to call our office, and I can give the phone number now or later, but we can go through a series of questions to figure out what it is that they've got. Certainly, some folks like to start just with the RV. Other people say, give me a quote on the whole package, and I'll make a choice from there. But yeah, the great thing about working with an independent agent like us, who has access to many different companies, is we can custom tailor a solution for each individual member.
yeah, I like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then if somebody calls you and they do want, multiple coverage on different vehicles, is there such a thing as like a multi-coverage discount?
Yes. So bundling
Okay.
is very, very popular.
Okay.
I think most members or most people can understand that bundling their policies together, it makes sense that it would save them money most of the time, or maybe even just sometimes.
Okay.
Other times it makes sense to split them out, and that's not a bad thing to put your automobile with one company and your Class A with a different company. Sometimes it makes sense to bundle them together and get that discount, and other times it just doesn't. And again, that's the beauty of an independent agency that's not tied to just one insurance carrier.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you've said it a couple of times now. The benefit of talking with FMCA RV Insurance is that you guys can provide a lot more options than if somebody just called an insurance company.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of value in our expertise too. We're RV specialists with the various insurance companies, so oftentimes somebody will call an insurance company and be told that, no, we don't do that, or it's not something that we cover. And they call us and they say, I just called the company directly and they said I couldn't do that.
You don't speak the same language.
Yeah, so we're empowered by the insurance companies to do certain things that their representatives can't even do directly, and that's because we're very familiar with the RV lifestyle, what's common, what's acceptable, and so we're empowered to help the FMCA members and our other customers in some ways that even calling the company direct they can't accomplish.
Yeah, that's a great benefit too.
Yeah, it's like somebody on your side type of thing.
And then do you guys well, you said you have a claim specialist, so you guys can help run interference if people are having a problem.
Yeah, so if things aren't going well, if I'm not able to get a hold of my adjuster, if I'm disagreeing with the amount of settlement, if maybe there's paperwork that's missing, something like that, we do have a claim specialist on staff that can step in and make those follow-up calls and maybe get some traction or some movement where the member just won't be able to do on their own.
Okay.
And for anybody listening, we're okay with you giving out the phone number if you want to give out the phone number.
Sure. So the web address again is fmcarvinsurance.com, or the phone number is 877-589-3599.
And then when somebody does call or contact you guys, what type of information should they have on hand or be ready with?
Sure. So the common questions that we're going to ask, of course, your name, birth date, email address, mailing address. If you have a different location for where you store or garage the RV, or register the RV, those can be 3 different addresses: your residence, your mailing, and garaging and registration. So those few addresses, and just to put out there, we don't sell or market your information outside of our offices. I like to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you tell us you're not interested in doing business, we don't keep hounding you or any of that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's good to know.
But the name, address, phone number, email, those types of things, and of course, year, make, and model of RV, approximate value or purchase price.
Okay.
And if you have coverage currently that we can compare against, then we're happy to do that to give you a apples to apples kind of comparison.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all of our questions for you, Jake. Is there anything that we missed that you want to highlight?
I think we did a fairly good job.
Yeah.
So I guess I would just highlight again the value of working with an RV specialist. We've been insuring RVs of all types for many, many years, and be happy to help all the members out as we're able. So thanks for having me.
We want to thank Echo One Adventures for sponsoring our trip to the FMCA convention. Echo One Adventures is a company that does electrical installs in all types of RVs and rents travel trailers fully outfitted for off-grid living. To learn more about them, go to echo1adventures.com. Thanks again to Echo One Adventures for their support.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Perry, Georgia for the FMCA convention. We're joined today by Custom Glass Solutions, and this is Matt. Matt, if you could just kind of introduce yourself and just tell us what your role at Custom Glass Solutions is.
Absolutely. Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Appreciate it. My name is Matt Eder. I serve as the general manager for the Custom Glass Solutions Network. That's kind of how we refer to the business internally In insurance lingo, we are a TPA, a third-party administrator.
Okay.
So we work with insurance companies and their policyholders to help them through the insurance claims process and ultimately to get their windshields replaced. We focus on RV. That is kind of the focus of the business. We do some other things as well, but RV is definitely our forte.
Okay.
And so it seems like you guys do more than just windshield replacement, right?
Absolutely. So Custom Glass Solutions at its core is a manufacturing company.
Okay.
So we make all of these parts, especially for RV, but we make windshields and other glass systems for all sorts of vocational vehicles. So it's really anything that is not a car or a pickup truck that moves. So it's semi-trucks, buses, trains, RVs, construction and agricultural equipment.
Okay.
Again, anything that moves that's not a car or pickup truck, we make parts for.
I think I saw on your website too that you make the side windows for Class A's as well. Does that sound right?
So we do some of those windows. We do some framing, but that's not a huge part of our business right now.
Okay.
But a growth opportunity that we're looking at for sure.
Okay. And then for the Class A's, I also think I read on your website that are you the only manufacturer of Class A windshields? Is that right?
So we are the only Class A windshield manufacturer who makes products here in the United States.
Really? Oh, wow.
So if it's not a CGS product, it's coming from overseas.
So you're actually making the glass that's going in.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So we have a plant in Upper Sandusky, Ohio, which is kind of central-ish Ohio, that produces all of these Class A RV windshields.
Okay. So do you do repairs as well, or you guys? Oh, you do.
We
Oh.
do. So we have a network of shops, thousands and thousands of shops around the country that are certified by us. We work with them because we know they know what they're doing when it comes to RV, which is extremely different from automotive.
Yeah.
So those folks specialize in, let's say, large format laminated glass and those big, huge windshields. But yes, they do repairs as well. Essentially anything you need having to do with glass on an RV, we can help you out with.
Okay.
What are some of the differences between like the RV glass versus my car glass?
Sure. I mean, first and foremost is the sheer size of that windshield. It takes no less than 2 people to handle, can weigh in excess of 150 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Just one piece of glass.
Wow.
And then when you just think about the dimensions and the size, it's a tough job. You need different equipment. You need different skill set, different expertise. They are very vertically inclined, where a windshield on a car is raked.
Yeah.
So the installation itself is different.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot that goes into it, but a lot of it boils down to just the sheer size of that piece of glass.
Okay.
I think even the installs on Class A's are varied from manufacturer to manufacturer. The way it's set, the way that it's capped, and all that too.
It's true, and it's different than how we have to do replacements in the field, and it leads to some challenges sometimes. Most of the OE manufacturers have the cap laying flat. They haven't put it on the vehicle yet, so the cap's laying flat. They put the glass in the cap, and then they put the cap on the vehicle. So when they're doing an installation at an OE level, it looks very different than when it's vertical and it's just kind of hanging there. So, we try to work with our OE customers to help them understand what it looks like in the aftermarket, right? It's one thing to put it in when it's flat and it's easy.
Yeah.
Now you've got it up and it's out on unlevel ground and all sorts of challenging circumstances. So we try to utilize our partnerships in the OE world to try and make things more conducive in the aftermarket.
So you're not just making glass for the aftermarket, you're actually also supplying some OEMs?
Correct. And that is one of our, I would say, unique value propositions in the Class A market. We have call it 85% market share at the OE level.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So
Okay.
your, Winnebagos and Tiffins and Newmars that are rolling off the factory line come with a Custom Glass Solutions windshield installed.
Okay, so that helps you in the aftermarket because you guys are already familiar with what's in those products.
That's exactly right. And when it comes to RV, the OE product, as far as the windshield is concerned, makes a big difference. It's typically part of the structural integrity of that cab, and so millimeters matter. So if you're buying a non-OE product, you could have fit and function issues. You could have leaking. You could have wind noise. So every customer that we talk to, we strongly suggest that they put the OE replacement back in, even if it's not our product, right? That's how strongly we feel about it.
Okay.
It's going to save you some issues in the long run, potentially.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I keep on saying Class A because that's what I drive, but you guys also do, I guess, the Class Cs and Bs as well, or does the B go through like the Dodge or whoever that's on?
So those are on a Dodge or Mercedes Sprinter chassis. We do make some of those parts as well. More so there for the aftermarket than the OE market, but it is an area we're exploring and continuing to look at. I'll tell you the other big growth opportunity that we're seeing right now are in the towables. A lot of the towables, whether it's a fifth wheel or a travel trailer, have the what we refer to as forward-facing glass. So they've changed the layout of a lot of these towable units, and at the front is a big windshield, so you've got a nice view out the front of your unit.
Oh, okay.
So then is that similar to a windshield that's in a car where it's laminated?
Correct.
They're putting laminated inside that one?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Because it is facing front, it's rare, but you could have a rock that gets over your tow vehicle and hits it, and if that's the case, you would want laminated glass as opposed to tempered glass.
Okay.
Oh,
Very
okay.
cool. Very interesting.
Now, if I let's say I'm Kenny and I'm driving my Winnebago Vista down the road and my windshield shatters, is my first step to contact someone like you at Custom Glass Solutions, or would I contact my insurance company first and then they work with you?
It's a great question. So part of what we're doing here at the rally is encouraging folks to call us first. With FMCA, we've got a long-standing partnership where if we manage your claim and you're an FMCA member, we're going to pay for a year of your FMCA membership for you.
Oh, that's a great deal.
So if we get that first phone call, if it is an insurance carrier where we don't have a contractual agreement, if we take that first phone call, we can still manage the claim for them. Whereas if they call their insurance company and we don't have that contractual agreement, it's possible that they're going to funnel that work to a different third-party administrator. So we have contracts with a lot of insurance companies. We can work with any insurance company, but if we don't have that contractual agreement, we need that first phone call to be able to manage it.
Okay, so you guys could actually be a one-stop shop for somebody.
Correct. Absolutely.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
And then what if somebody doesn't have insurance, they don't want to use insurance, can they still call you guys to get a, okay.
Absolutely. We don't run into that a ton, but yes, there are folks out there who buy just the windshield from us. They've got friends or family who know how to put it in, or they've got a shop that they've got a strong relationship with, and all they want is the piece of glass.
Okay.
We're happy to do that. We're happy to arrange everything for them, and they pay for it out of pocket.
How would I know if I had an RV that has a Custom Glass Solutions OEM piece of glass in it?
Another very good question. So in the bottom corner, typically, of the windshield, on some of them it's in bottom center, there is a logo. And you would just look for our Custom Glass Solutions logo.
Okay.
And if you see it, it's one of our products. A little tougher to know exactly whether that was the OE product.
Right.
If you bought a used unit and you don't know if somebody had a replacement done, you wouldn't know for certain. But if you see our logo, you could give us a call and you could ask us, and we could tell you if it's the OE product or not.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's interesting.
Absolutely.
And then as far as glass installers, you have people spread out across the country, I would imagine.
Correct. So our database of active installers is actually over 15,000, but we have whittled that down to about 3,000 that we consider preferred providers. These are folks that we've worked with, that we have certified their work. They meet our criteria to be a certified installer. We know they're going to stand behind their work. We know they're going to do quality work. Again, an RV replacement is very different from an automotive replacement. So it's part of the value that we bring to the end user, is that, if you don't have a shop that you want to work with, we're going to be able to find somebody for you that absolutely knows what they're doing. Again, going to stand behind their work. We're going to stand behind their work in terms of a warranty on the labor. It's a big piece, because if you just go online and do Google searches or whatever, you're taking your chances, right? And it's something where we can lend our knowledge and our expertise and our experience in the marketplace to help make sure you get a good job.
Okay. What if somebody was making like a custom vehicle or anything like that? Could they give you sizes and have a piece of glass made?
So we have done that. Most folks end up finding it to be somewhat cost prohibitive.
I bet. I bet it's expensive.
Because we have to create tooling and moldings for those parts that essentially we're going to run once. Maybe you're going to buy two, but yes, we absolutely have done it. We've got some pretty cool stories. We had a guy who took a Winnebago and stripped it down and built a pirate ship on a Winnebago chassis. I'm not kidding. I've been on a pirate ship. It's quite crazy. But he contracted with us to build him 2 custom windshields. And then he took the pirate ship to Las Vegas, and it was a party bus in Las Vegas.
Oh, really?
So
wow.
see it rolling down the strip at some point.
That's pretty cool.
I thought maybe it was for a parade. I would have never even thought about a party bus in Vegas.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense now.
Yeah. It was quite the project. It was impressive.
Here at the show, I know you guys have a booth inside the exhibitor hall.
We sure do.
Do you have any installers or anybody like that here with you as well?
We do. We are doing installs all week here in Perry, hoping that the rain stays away today, or at least comes very late. But we are working with one of our best shops, RV Glass Tech. Mike and his crew are here. They actually came up from Florida because, again, we want to make sure that we're providing the best possible service, and Mike and the RV Glass Tech team are experts at what they do. So they've been on site. You might see them rolling around with their truck and their trailer, but they're doing replacements, they're doing repairs, they're doing essentially everything except for foggy side windows.
Okay. And how long does a typical replacement take on an RV?
So the big one-piece windshields, they can take, some folks can get them done as fast as a couple of hours, but taking a half day is not anything
That's
unusual.
what I would have guessed, yeah.
3 to 4 hours. Cutting the old piece of glass out can be a bit of work, and then they've got to pull it. They've got to clean the opening, prep the glass to go in, and then, this is where you need the manpower to be sure that you're setting it just so in that opening. So it's, I'd say anywhere from 2 to 4 hours is pretty standard for one of the
And then
big
how
one
long
pieces.
do you have to wait before it's safe to drive the RV?
So it all depends on the urethane that the installer uses and the type of product that's going in. So some flush mount windshields have a 24-hour cure time. So the coach has to sit before that urethane sets up and is really adhering to the glass into the frame. Others, it's almost immediate that you can turn around and drive away. So it really just depends on the urethane and what the actual windshield is.
Okay. All right.
I guess the same is true about how quick is it rain resistant? Varies also?
So that is whatever the cure time for the urethane is, you're good to go.
Okay.
So it's the same. Once you can drive away, I mean, the biggest issue is that you want to know you have proper adhesion and that windshield's not going to slide or move, or they don't really fall out. But you want to make sure that windshield is secure. Once it's secure and that urethane is cured, you're not going to get leaks. You're not going to get wind noise, right? As long as the installation was appropriate, you're good to go.
And you had said that the time to install one depends on how long also it takes to remove one, and you mentioned cutting it out. So are these wet set? Are they okay? So you're plopping them into a wet setting, and then
Correct.
that dries, and it almost gets glued into place.
That's exactly right. Now, some of them fit into gaskets, so there are gasket sets, but by and large, it is set into wet urethane. So you've got just a little bit of time to make sure you've got it just right. But yes, so when they've got to take an old one out, they usually use a reciprocating saw, like a Sawzall, and they've got special blades for it, and they have to go cut that urethane all the way around the glass to be able to then pull it out.
Sounds messy.
It is. These guys are really skilled at what they do, right? It truly is a niche. These guys are technicians. They really are.
Yeah.
And the best ones, they're fun to watch work, right? Because it's a lot of science, but it's also part art as well.
Yeah.
And to see these guys do what they do is really impressive.
But you can really imagine just why it is time consuming the way, just the process itself.
Yeah, well, and the weight, right? I mean, you can't move one of these windshields on your own typically, or it's strongly advised that you don't try to do it. But it is a time-consuming process. But again, they're really skilled at what they do. They're fun to watch work.
And American made, you
Yes,
said.
sir.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yes, sir. And that's that's something we talk about here at the rally with folks. And you see everybody with their veterans hat, their military hats. It's a very patriotic bunch, and so you can usually see like a visceral reaction when you say, "Hey, we're the only ones who make it here in the United States," and that matters to them. So we're proud to have manufacturing jobs here in the U.S. and something we're going to continue doing and continue talking about.
And how long have you guys been involved in the RV glass business?
So our Upper Sandusky facility opened in 1974.
Oh, a while.
And at that time, our primary customers were RV and heavy truck. So we've been in the RV glass business since 1974.
Wow. Okay. A lot of experience.
Yeah,
then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say about how many pieces of glass you guys produce in a week?
Wow, that's a great question. So pieces of glass, just because we have so many different customers, right? We work with over 300 customers. It's in the thousands. I'd want to talk to somebody at the plant to give you a more accurate number, but it's certainly thousands of units per week.
Per week, wow.
Per week.
Wow.
You guys are busy.
Yes, absolutely.
And then if somebody has an issue, obviously they would get their roadside assistance and get them somewhere safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then most of the installers, I think, are fairly mobile, right?
So a lot of them are. It depends on the market to a large extent. So in the Sun Belt states, we're going to have a lot more vendors who are able to do mobile. There are, some pockets of the country where it's a little tougher to get that mobile service. There are also certain coaches where even if you can do it mobily,
It's not a good idea.
it's not a good idea, right? You want to bring it into a shop. You want a controlled environment. You want to know you're on level ground. You want to know that there's not dust and dirt in the air. So there are certain coaches that, regardless, we're going to strongly recommend. you bring it into a shop.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah.
Do you know off the top of your head? My guess would be a Class A, but what is the most repaired windshield for RVs?
The Class A's in general,
Yeah.
again, it's that vertical orientation, right? It is just a moving billboard down the road that, like, people think we put rock magnets in it, but
I was going to say sometimes they're called rock magnets, so that's why I was guessing that was the number one.
So it's such a flat surface that rock hits, and it absorbs the entire force of that impact, right?
Yeah.
It can't roll off, it can't
Yeah.
roll to the side. It's definitely those Class A's.
Okay. Yeah, there's no deflection to it.
No, you can't. There's nowhere for it to go except right in your windshield.
So here at the show, if people wanted to find you, where are you located in the exhibitor hall?
So we are in the FMCA Connections area,
Okay.
booth 511.
Okay.
Again, we've had a long-standing partnership with FMCA. I think it dates back to 2017. We love coming to the rallies. We love being part of, I guess we should call them conventions now. I apologize for that. But we love being here, getting to talk to the folks, hearing firsthand some of the experiences they've had. It's, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? It helps us, take that feedback and learn and try and improve our processes. But
yeah.
we're just, 100 yards behind us here on that 500 aisle. We'd be happy to talk to folks. We've got our playing cards that are RV branded. They've got RVs on the face cards.
Oh, wow.
It's got our contact information on the box and in the box. So, if I'm sitting there playing solitaire, you'll understand why. But handing out Dex cards and really enjoy getting to talk to the folks here.
And then we have some folks who listen and tune in that are not here at the convention.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best way for them to get in touch with you if they're not here?
They can certainly go to the website. You'll get there from customglasssolutions.com.
Okay.
But rvglassparts.com
Okay.
is really the dedicated website for the network. You can provide some information there where we'll give you a call back. But if you kind of want to start the process that way, you can certainly do that, or you can call us at 855-RV-CLAIM.
Oh, that's easy.
And that will go right to our call center, and we'll be happy to answer questions and get a claim set up.
Yeah. Sounds like the sound of freedom's flying over us, maybe. Sounds like a military helicopter. Yep,
Oh, yeah,
sure is a
couple of
Black Hawk. Couple of Black Hawks flying over. Beautiful.
Warner Robins.
Yeah.
Sean's Air Force,
Oh.
or retired Air Force. so
Retired.
Excellent.
Yeah.
He knows just from the sound.
Excellent.
But if you want to give that number out one more time, just in case they couldn't hear over those choppers, we're fine with that.
Absolutely. It's 855-RV-CLAIM.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Well, I think that's all of our questions for you, unless there's something that we might have missed or that you want to add before we let you go.
No, nothing that I can think of. Just, again, appreciate the opportunity to talk with you guys this morning. Certainly enjoy it, and hope that folks are enjoying their time at Perry. And for those folks who aren't here in Perry, again, we're here to help. I guess the only other thing I would add is that we take customer service extremely seriously. We know that there is a product involved, but at the end of the day, we're providing a service. We're trying to help folks who are in a bad situation, right?
Yeah.
They've broken a windshield. Maybe that stops their vacation. Maybe that stops just their trip, whatever it may be. They need our help, and we take that seriously. So we survey up to 50% of the folks that we work with.
Oh, okay.
That's
we
great.
have a 98+% customer service rating. So we really, a lot of people in this day and age are talking about customer service.
Yeah.
It's something we take very seriously. We like the demographic that we're working with, and I think the service speaks for itself. And so I do think that's another point that I would throw out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
So
All right.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, we
Thank you,
appreciate your
gentlemen.
time. I know you're busy here, so
likewise,
thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
This wraps up the interviews from day 3 of our time at the FMCA International Convention. We hope these interviews were as informative for you as they were for us. We have one more day of interviews at the convention, which will be released in 2 weeks. Please remember to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Safe travels, everyone.
Looking to get out there and stay out there? Battleborn Batteries lithium-ion batteries are here to power your RV, marine, and off-grid adventures. Designed as an easy drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries, these reliable solutions have 2 to 3 times the power, charge 5 times faster, are a fifth of the weight, and last 10 times longer. Offered in a variety of models in unique sizes and shapes, ranging from 50 amp hour to a robust 270 amp hour, and backed by a 10-year warranty. Battleborn batteries are built to fit your needs and power your experiences. On the road, on the water, and off the grid, reliable power is here. Check them out at battlebornbatteries.com. With the complexity of all the systems in an RV, I always say it's not if something's going to break, but a matter of when is something going to break. That is why I think an extended warranty for RVs is so important. We first interviewed wholesale warranties back in 2019 and immediately became impressed with how their policies worked, such as you can take your RV to any licensed repair shop, including mobile repairs. They also have personalized service plans, making sure you are getting the right policy for your needs. And if you think your RV is too old for a policy, you might be surprised to hear that RVs up to 20 years old can still be approved for a policy. That is more age lenient than most RV parks I've stayed at. Go to wholesalewarranties.com/beyond the wheel or click the link down below in our show notes to get your free quote today.